The magical thing about prints is what colors can do together. That's true of an entire outfit. It's true of an entire appearance. When this gorgeous puzzle comes together and all the pieces fit together so perfectly. But prints are special because they can bring pictures to life. When colors are in harmony, which isn't true of any print or guaranteed of any print, we are shown our world in a way that is surprising in its beauty, a way we hadn't seen before, and yet real, possible, relatable at the same time. What's also great about prints is their ability to bring together the parts of an outfit. When you can find the blouse or the lipstick and the hair and the jewelry together in the print, it looks artistic, but it looks intentional too. And looking intentional is good because you look like your appearance happened by you instead of to you. Very organized looking. The parts just go together and they go with you. You look like you have access to special information. Hi, I'm Christine. We are familiar with paisley prints for autumn, plaid, even the animal prints that we saw in the last episode, which was part 1 of this 4-part blog series. Today we're going to be looking at flower variations as a way of comparing soft, true, and dark autumn. You think about how light influences a landscape. It affects every color in that landscape. That's a bit what the seasons mean. So the true autumn season is a group of colors that are under the influence of autumn's kind of light, deep, rich, golden. The soft autumn season is what happens when you mix a little bit of summer's influence on color, that particular kind of light, with autumn colors. The dark autumn season, what happens when you mix a little bit of winter's influence on colors with autumn. This applies to landscapes, it applies to people, it applies to cosmetic designs, anything that has to do with color. The same person is not going to wear the same designs with those colors any more than they're all going to wear wood and spicy scents in the autumn seasons. What season has in common, what it refers to, is color. The other elements of design, which are just as important in creating a great and belonging appearance and making your best shopping choices, that has to do with other elements, shape and size. The size of a print has to do with the size and distribution of your facial features and your body parts. The shapes of a print also are related to the shapes of your facial features and body parts. This is such useful information. It helps narrow down your shopping world so much. And it's easily done because it's available online. So if you're interested, please ask me. I can help you find resources. I'd be glad to do that. Here's the picture that we're going to be looking at in today's video. The blog post for the video is going to be linked in the description box. The Your Style link for shopping information for the items also linked in the description box and the blog post. Well, you know instinctively that the same woman is not going to wear the tops across the rows horizontally. Let me say that a different way. The same woman is not going to wear the 3 tops across the rows and look equally fantastic. And she's not going to make her clothing look equally fantastic. The woman who wears the dark autumn clothes, when you put them on the soft autumn woman, they're going to take over a little bit, exactly the same way as if you move some of those items over into another column. They stick out, they're too much, they're not enough. The puzzle piece that just had to be pushed into the puzzle because it wasn't in perfect fit with the plan of the puzzle, and your attention goes back to it. Almost hard to appreciate this beautiful puzzle put together because of this one piece. That's what you keep looking at. The colors in the rows, in the vertical column, absolutely great. they look fine together. They're calm, they're belonging. There would be no feeling of having to push or force anything to go together, of wanting to dial something up or down. Over on the dark autumn side, you can see the top in the top row softer. It looks a little bit dustier. The top and the bottom row a little more intensely pigmented. Same woman is not going to wear these two designs necessarily, but there is something that these colors have in common. The soft autumn choices, they're lighter. Soft autumn is a lighter season. They do go darker for sure. Every autumn does. Maybe like soft mulled wine. But here I'm just showing you two of the two lighter tops. What else is there to see here? The concept with soft autumn to keep in mind, and soft summer too to some extent, is to keep the colors under the face. When I wear this sweater, hopefully you can look at me without your attention being dragged back down to the sweater all the time. These two things just look like they would balance each other out. Well, with a soft autumn, what can happen when color is too pigmented is that it looks like the clothing is wearing the woman. If you have a color palette, whether you use a single strip or the entire palette, put it on a garment, you don't want the feeling that the color is coming up between the arms, or that you can only see the dark end of the strip and you couldn't just fit the color of the garment into the entire strip, because that is exactly what's going to happen when the person wears those colors. Colors are soft, they have a little bit more drift, they have a little bit more flow from color to color. On a person, sometimes the person is colored that way. Eyes, hair, skin, the colors just drift from one to the other with no big leaps. And they feel very comfortable in that kind of print. Other folks have darker eyes, darker hair, particularly if they're Caucasian. Something makes them think they need to wear darker color. The problem there being that when we see dark color, we tend to think it's more pigmented than it necessarily is. Colors can go quite dark, but they're still surprisingly dusty and surprisingly soft. Well, this is something you have to test people. You can't just look at them and know how this is going to turn out. True autumn, committed to warmth, rich, glowing, beautiful warmth. The top in the top row, it's kind of hard to say. The top in the top row, the colors are warm, but it's not cartoony. There's still something very natural. You could almost call them earthy. They look more earthy than they look necessarily like, say, colors of candy. The top in the bottom row, it's light. Could a soft autumn wear that too? Yeah, sure. This one here could be true autumn in the sense that you see gold in that white, but you also see green reflections. And to say that not everything is animal prints and not everything is mustard, olive, army, those traditional autumn colors. It's really interesting with autumn people. True of cool season people too. You just cannot tell this to look at a person. And when you test or analyze their coloring, you see how sensitive they are to cool color. You put cool color on them, the complexion just drains out of them. Their vitality goes away. And the vitality goes out of the clothing. It's kind of lifeless. Sometimes it's a little bit limp. Put cool cosmetics on them and the lipstick is blue. It looks bruised or frozen or something that you do not want your lips to look like, especially when the color should be so rich and warm and golden. Dark autumn, mostly autumn, a little bit of winter. Colors are darker, colors are brighter, but there's a range in terms of brightness here. And the top row shows you maybe some softer representations of dark autumn color. The bottom row shows you something a little more intense and pigmented. I'm always very interested in the light colors for dark autumn because every season has light colors. And in this particular season, they have such an ability to illuminate the darkness. So the white flowers are not pure white, the background is pure white. You see the distance between them. And the pink, that's not pastel pink. That's not blossom pink. It's not misty pink, and it's not candy pink. I think of it kind of as rustic pink. And that could be said for the light colors of dark autumn. It's a way to kind of recognize them. The other thing about dark autumn, because winter mixes in, is that the ability to wear color brightness is getting very high. They can wear an awful lot of color before it starts wearing them, as long as it has that little bit of a rustic log cabin feel about it. If you look at the tassels on the print in the bottom row, those two bright coral tassels, they might be dark autumn and they might not be, but they look just fine. They would not take over the appearance. Move them over onto the tops in the soft autumn row or the true autumn row. You would see nothing else. This would be the puzzle piece that sticks out and takes all your attention. Try putting it as a lipstick on that person. It would take over entirely. So this gives you some idea of the differences between the three seasons. And in the blog post, we will talk about them a lot more. What you want to know is which of these prints is mine, which of these groups of colors and which of these designs am I going to buy? Because without a plan of some sort, shopping is like being given a giant bag of Lego with no instructions. I'm pretty sure I could do something good with this, but I have no idea what it is or where to start. I've said, I think everywhere, that your preference is beautiful because it's yours. If you think something is beautiful or it expresses something that you want to say to the world, then it's beautiful automatically. Well, I can't always tell. I know I've been shopping with people and I have to say to them, ask, is this beautiful or is it not? Should I leave it here? Because I don't always know. I say that people's taste is beautiful because I think I should. But when others do that to me, when they try to protect my feelings and don't tell me what they really think, I feel actually a little bit disrespected. I would like to be in charge of protecting my own feelings, and I would like to hear what you really think. When we protect other people from our ideas, well, we're just not doing them, I don't think, any favors. The more unique and the more unconventional your ideas are, the more I want to hear them, because this is what moves us forward. This is what helps us realize what rules are in place that are good and true and helpful and we should keep, and which ones are too narrow or don't really serve us, or we have new information that can help us manage our lives in a better way. So here's what I think. All taste isn't good, or it would never get better. All preferences, personal preferences, are not beautiful just because they're ours. We wouldn't look back on things we've bought and wonder what in the world it was we saw if our taste in all kinds of things, not just color, couldn't be refined. I do believe that you never argue with taste. I do believe that everyone has a right to their own idea of what is beautiful. And if your eyes say that something's beautiful, then by all means wear it. But so many voices get into our heads when we try to make beautiful choices. Media we know, fashion we know, trend. Also maybe what we do to keep the neighbors happy and quiet, or what we do to keep the neighbors consistently unhappy and eventually quiet, depending on your mindset. If you didn't know brands and prices and you were given 20 prints, pairs of jeans, lipsticks, and you had to rank them by price, could you do it? No, probably not, because price, popularity, beauty, they're just not related. We've seen all these ideas fall back down to earth eventually. There's something more to what makes something beautiful. Because I'm not always sure what looks good, what's beautiful together, I fall back on a system that I can trust. Color harmony is real. Humans agree about it. The natural world agrees about it. So it's a kind of internal home base that I can start from, find the colors in there, and then use them to create the appearance that I want to have. It's a lot easier to do that than to have to figure it out by myself. Kind of like I want to walk into a house where the plumbing and the electricity are to code, and I really would like people who are smarter than me and have already figured it out to be in charge of that. And then I'll decorate the house however I want. When people say that they study beauty, I think that they're looking at it like math. I think they see an internal plan. structure. I'm trying not to say the word blueprint. there's some sort of a built-in system at work that lets certain things qualify or become beautiful. And it's endlessly fascinating what those attributes would be. When people say, I believe that all people are truly beautiful, and I do, I think that they are speaking literally and that they are seeing the plan. Your colors, your shapes are not random at all. They are configured, designed, created to go together really very precisely. So congratulations, you have this plan. And to me, harmony is the word for the plan. Harmony is the word for whatever it is that makes all these things come together in a way that is what we would call beautiful. You hear about symmetry as an aspect of beauty. I don't see it that way. I think it may have historic or cultural applications, but for the most part, the natural world isn't symmetric. Humans aren't symmetric. The pupil of our eye, a tree, a range of mountains, I don't think they're symmetric, and I don't think their shapes average out to be symmetric over the larger scale. Irregularity is incredibly beautiful. In fact, look at fractal geometry. Those pictures just leave you without words. They're so beautiful. And we know they represent function or the natural world because of the advancements, for instance, that have been made in material science, just because of the study of irregularity. So in my mind, I don't connect symmetry with beauty at all. Open to any ideas, but I don't make that association. What I do know is that when colors are in harmony, the colors can form relationships. They can speak to one another. They can say something in the same language so that they become more together than they are apart. They can start forming images and associations. And when I chose the prints for these images, there was something about them that showed me those harmonious types of color combinations that created a relationship, that developed its own language or energy. So congratulations, you have this internal plan that is already put together, incredibly beautiful, parts all made for one another. Being given your color palette is like being given the instructions for the Lego. Now you know what you're looking for. People who know how to think about something, like color in relation to you, they make good decisions. They trust themselves more and more. They know how to make choices when nothing perfect is available or when they're making transitions, like you want to color your hair. You want to stop coloring your hair. You become like the entrepreneur of your own closet. You're building and working towards something, and you can see the compounding effects growing with every purchase that you make. Beauty isn't hiding behind price and popularity. All the beauty that you need is already in you. What you do need is a plan so that you know how to use it. Let's think about makeup for a minute. You buy clothes in your colors. What are you going to buy for makeup colors? Your colors. You got it. Why wouldn't you? Why would you buy anything else? So that level after level can reinforce the one before it, and you build this momentum towards a beautiful, vibrant, but balanced appearance. No puzzle pieces that shouldn't belong there. Everything just fits in just like it was made for it. Now, you don't have to wear makeup. Nobody has to wear makeup. But I really encourage you to know your colors if you make that choice. Unless you can say, honestly, I don't care what I look like. But I've never met anyone who can say that honestly. I know people who can make adjustments based on, what the neighbors think. But for the most part, we do want to present something beautiful to the world because we are already beautiful. And it's not just what we tell others, but also what we tell ourselves. So let's look at our soft autumn colors with the makeup beside them. The makeup colors, this is from a blog post I did some years ago. I'd probably make the colors cooler today, but I'll still link the post in the description box. And cosmetics are already customized, color coordinated by season in the 12 Blueprints shop. I'll put that link in the description box below. So the legwork's been done. You do not have to figure this out on your own. And your eye can go from the makeup to the blouses and see, yeah, these things belong in the same world. These things can form relationships. They can be connected together because they share so much. The same woman is going to wear these colors beautifully. She's going to make her clothes look great. She's going to make her makeup look perfect for her, and she's going to look fantastic. The same principles apply of having colors that are warm enough and dark enough, but don't take over, particularly on a soft autumn face. Here we have dark autumn, the same idea. Your eye can move from the clothing, whether you choose the softer one or the more pigmented one, to the cosmetics and see that these things just logically go together. The same woman is going to look beautiful. And remember, you're seeing a white background, but picture this on a woman of the same colors, or a person of the same colors. And the reinforcement, it exponentially builds on itself to become a world that is so streamlined and just so lovely to look at. I think that lips should look like lips. So if the lips look blue, well, the lipstick was probably too cool. And if the lips look grayish, the lipstick was probably too soft. And that's about what would happen if the dark autumn woman wore soft autumn's lipstick. It would not have enough pigment to match what's in her, so it would look a little grayish, or it would look a little bit washed out. If lips look orange, that's not a normal color for lips to be. It's not the best choice that the person could have made. Those colors are just a little bit too warm. So if you stay inside your color palette with everything you choose, everything just works automatically. You put it on and it fits like it was made for you. Nothing to prove, nobody to impress. You're still standing there. You still need some clothes. And when you want to bring the beauty that the world of fashion is capable of into your world, you know who you can turn to: yourself and your beautiful built-in colors. The blog post will be linked in the description box. All the things that I've mentioned will be linked in the description box. I'll also put a link to my Pinterest boards in the description box because I often pin items in current retail. Lately have done printed blouses and spring dresses. So always thank you for being here, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.